Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you're here and very excited to be filming today's video, which is an ingredient prep or meal shortcut type of video. If you watch my TikTok, Instagram, or my YouTube shorts, you'll see that each week I'll prep a handful of items that my husband and I can use throughout the week with our meals. And this week is no different, except I'm bringing it over to YouTube. One of the things I love most about ingredient prepping or doing these meal shortcuts is that I'm not necessarily putting full meals together. That way throughout the week I don't get tired of eating the same thing over and over again, and I can kind of just pick and choose what it is that I want to enjoy while still having options. So whenever I do these ingredient preps, I strive to make sure that everything I'm prepping is healthy. That way during the week when I'm just putting meals together, I'm not eating a bunch of stuff that I don't need. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into what I'm ingredient prepping for the week. So as I mentioned, most of the time when I ingredient prep, I'm prepping items that my husband and I can both enjoy, and more often than not I'm prepping some sort of healthy carb, whether it's quinoa, sweet potatoes, or something like that. And we've been loving Japanese sweet potatoes, so that was one of our healthy carbs for this week. These are really good for you because they're rich in antioxidants, fiber, and vitamins, but they also just taste really good and you don't have to do too much to them to enjoy them. Now to cook these, I just poke them with a fork, rub them down with some oil, and then I bake them in the oven on 375 degrees for about 50 minutes to an hour, or just until they're fully cooked through. We just love having these with veggies and protein. I like to keep some in the freezer just so we can have on hand as well. And I know y'all saw that quick shot for my dog's toys. Why do dogs just leave toys everywhere? We gotta train this boy to pick up after himself. But anyway, the sweet potatoes take the longest to cook, so I wanted to go ahead and get those out the way. But then I moved on to my tofu, which is one of my protein sources for this week. I have been loving shredded tofu and decided to make some to go with some of my meals. And for my shredded tofu, I always use either super firm tofu or fava bean tofu. The fava bean tofu is a soy-free tofu option if you are soy-free, or if you're like me and you like to switch up your protein sources. When I shared my shredded tofu recipe over on my Instagram and TikTok, a couple reoccurring questions that I got were, one, do you have to press the tofu? If you're using super firm or fava bean like I recommended, no, you don't have to press it. You don't even have to freeze it. And the second question was, can I do this with extra firm tofu? And to that I say, you can, but just be mindful that it will crumble, which is why I recommend the super firm or the fava bean tofu. Okay, and back to this tofu. I just shredded it using a cheese grater, and then I added some coconut aminos, which I don't always do, but decided to this day. I also added smoked paprika, garlic and onion powder, and some black pepper. Then I just sprayed it with some avocado oil, mixed it really well, and just spread it across this baking sheet just before popping it in the oven for about 30 minutes. Next, I moved on to make a super green pasta sauce, and I'm just calling it a super green pasta sauce because I use so many green veggies, starting with this asparagus. Oh, and I've mentioned this before, but if you needed a sign to keep a veggie scraps bag to make homemade vegetable broth, let this be your sign. My bag is filling up and I'm so excited to make broth soon. I cannot wait. And I'll of course feature that in a video, so don't worry. But I also diced some zucchini, I roughly chopped some broccoli, added some yellow onions, and minced garlic in there as well. And though my husband doesn't follow a plant-based diet, he still eats all of his vegetables. I found that it's really easy for him to eat more vegetables, for me to eat more vegetables, or just healthier in general, is when I create recipes like this that we can both enjoy. So again, I'm making a pasta sauce that we'll just be able to add to some meals, or whether it be some roasted veggies that I cook, he can add it on the side of whatever it is that he wants to enjoy for that day. And the reason I bring that up is because I have gotten comments from people who have shared with me that they are the only person within their household or family who is eating a plant-based diet or who enjoys eating plant-based meals. And to that I say, if you are the person cooking, just try to create meals that you think your family will enjoy and that they can add to if they choose to. And I'm sorry for all the tangents, y'all. I just want to share these things with you. But anyway, back to this pasta sauce that we have in the works here. when it was time to cook everything, I went ahead and started by cooking the onions. As you saw, cooked those until they were translucent. Then I added in the veggies, cooked those down for a bit, followed by the garlic and salt and black pepper. And I just left the veggies to do their thing because by now the tofu was done in the oven, so I just set that aside and let it cool. And then I started on making a homemade syrup, which I was really excited for because it was so delicious and it was a new combination of flavors that I haven't tried before. So the syrup that I'm making is a rhubarb, jalapeno, and peach syrup. Doesn't that just sound so good? In my video from last week, I had asked for some ideas on different ways that I can use rhubarb, and there were some suggestions on making a syrup, so I wanted to do that. I still need to make a crumble, which I feel like more people recommended I make a crumble or a pie using the rhubarb, so I'm gonna have to try that. But for the syrup, I just added some frozen peaches, the rhubarb, and the sliced jalapenos, along with some sweetener to a pot. And my goal here is just to get these veggies to sweat a bit to bring out those natural juices. And then next I added some water. I want to say I used about 2 to 3 cups of water, and brought this to a low simmer. And while that was going, our sweet potatoes had finished in the oven, so here I am just testing them out. And then I just set those aside to let them cool and moved on to making our pasta sauce. Because the veggies were done cooking, I let them cool and it was time to get to work. So again, in here I have asparagus, broccoli, some zucchini, and then I'm also going to go in with some basil. I've really been loving basil and pesto vibes, so it felt like a necessity. I also threw in some miso paste along with some extra virgin olive oil and just blended that all together in the blender. Now my plan for this sauce is to use it in pasta. And the reason why I'm prepping the sauce ahead is because I didn't really want to cook all the pasta just yet. I wasn't sure how much we wanted to use, when we even wanted to have it. And honestly, pasta takes about 10-15 minutes to make, so it wasn't something that I was too worried about taking too much time during the week. Also, it is crazy to think about how many veggies are in this pasta sauce. If y'all have kids and you need to sneak in veggies for their meals, I feel like this would be a really good one to make. Next up, I wanted to prep one of our fruits that we have been absolutely loving. We've been throwing it in smoothies, just snacking on it, and that fruit is cherries, which happens to be in season. So if you have a chance to go to your local farmer's market, or maybe you'll just see them at the grocery store, be sure to grab them because the quality should be A1. And when I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, we are going to finish this in a day. So I should have done a lot more, but that's okay. Also on the menu this week is an Asian-inspired salad, which is loaded with so many fresh veggies, from carrots, fresh herbs, bell peppers, cabbage, you name it. And although I mentioned that we're going to be using these veggies in an Asian-inspired salad, the great thing about the type of veggies that I'm prepping here is that these could also be roasted and enjoyed throughout the week as well, which is exactly what my husband and I ended up doing. Another thing I want to mention is that I know I'm using quite a few fresh veggies in this video. I got a comment over on Facebook where someone was like, hey, I'm sure eating this way is very expensive. One thing I would highly recommend, I've mentioned it already in this video, but try to go to your local farmer's market or a discount store to find ingredients like this. At the farmer's market, they have these items that are grown directly from the farmers. They are reasonably priced, especially compared to going to the grocery store. You can buy it in bulk, but cooking in season and cooking with veggies that I'm able to find at my local market or stores that don't tend to mark up prices has really helped me and my budget when it comes to cooking and eating with as many veggies as I prep. I'm sorry, y'all, I went on a tangent again, but I hope that the tangent was helpful. But anyway, after I finished chopping up all of those veggies, I put together an Asian-inspired dressing. For this dressing, I am loosely following a recipe that I found online from Recipe 10 Eats. And her recipe called for some soy sauce, rice vinegar, sesame seed oil, grapeseed oil, which I didn't use. Also called for a sweetener, so I used maple syrup instead, and some fresh ginger, garlic, and black pepper. Now, when I prepped this, I think I went into it thinking I was gonna have something that was similar to my spicy peanut dressing. I don't know why, but I felt like there was just something missing, so I decided to make this more creamy and add some plant-based mayo. Next, I just portioned out our veggies. So one of these containers will be for me, one will be for my husband, and that way we can kind of just grab and go and either cook with them or enjoy them raw as needed. Now you probably forgot, but I didn't. We're still making that syrup. So I went ahead and removed the fruit from the stove and just let that cool down before straining it through a mesh strainer. I seriously love making my own homemade syrups. I've done strawberry syrup, blueberry syrup, blackberry syrup. It's just so delicious, but this was my first time making this combination and I was pleasantly surprised. When we went to enjoy this, I actually just had it with some sparkling water, added some ice, and it was so refreshing and very delicious. With almost every ingredient prep that I've been doing, I've been finding a way to use up some of the waste. And in this ingredient prep, a way that I'm planning to reuse something that could have been thrown away easily is to take that peach, rhubarb, and jalapeno compote and combine it with some chia seeds to make sort of like a chia seed jam or just like a thicker compote. And earlier this day we had gone to the farmer's market and got quite a few baked goods, so this is going to be perfect on sourdough bread or even some of the biscuits that we picked up as well. This was such a successful ingredient prep that compote was the last thing that I needed to put together. Our tofu had finally cooled off, so I just transferred that into a container. Our sweet potatoes are done, so also added those into containers. I'm so happy with the variety of items that I prepped. I just love ingredient prepping so much. It really just makes my life so much easier, especially on the days where I just don't know what I want to make or I just don't even feel like thinking. Okay, y'all, we are all done with the ingredient prep, and in next week's video I plan to show you how I plan to use everything in a what I eat in a few days, so be sure to come back to my channel for that. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it inspired you to just prep some healthy but delicious items for the week that you can just throw with meals and enjoy. But thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.